A Birthday Bonanza. On Saturday, September 10th, 1955, KNX Radio canceled all scheduled entertainment programs throughout its entire broadcast day, and in their stead, presented one great 18-hour gala broadcast. This in celebration of the 35th anniversary of the founding of KNX, and in tribute to the Los Angeles community which made the growth of KNX possible. In this one-hour presentation, you'll hear a compendium of the day's events as KNX traveled the highways and byways, reached into the air and beneath the sea. These are the highlights of that day, which began at 6 a.m. with the voice of Ralph Story.
Good morning, everyone. It's 6 o'clock in Los Angeles, and this is Ralph Story welcoming you to the KNX Birthday Bonanza, the 35th anniversary celebration of this radio station. During the next 18 hours, you're going to hear the greatest local broadcast in Los Angeles history. Brought to you by Standard Federal Savings and Loan. It's a cavalcade of stars, music, entertainment, surprises, and most especially prizes, fabulous prizes worth over $65,000. And so, friends, this is the official start, and the KNX Birthday Bonanza is off and away. And this is the KNX Birthday Bonanza, a birthday party for all you listeners, too. You're all invited to share the excitement by coming down here to Studio A at Columbia Square, so come to the party, the Bonanza broadcast for KNX's Happy 35th. Everybody sing.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you.
And this is the first feature of the Bonanza broadcast. And right now it's time for all Southern California to wake up and join our fun, so get up and stay tuned for the biggest party. Run 'em off.
In this spirit, the KNX Birthday Bonanza continued from 6 a.m. to midnight, from the studios and countless remotes throughout the Los Angeles area and beyond. At this point, we have just returned from an account of early morning activities at the City Produce Market with KNX Radio's farm reporter.
Thank you, Nelson. Nelson McInich at the Produce Market this morning, and the time is 8 minutes after 6 o'clock, daylight saving time. Now, that horn that you just heard, what would you say if I told you that somewhere in Southern California a brand new automobile is parked in a certain spot, and all you have to do is go up to this car and blow the horn, and it's yours? You probably think I'm crazy. Well, I'm not. This is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but. There's a new automobile parked somewhere in the Southland, and the first person who blows the horn owns the automobile. Now, during the day, we're going to give clues from time to time to help you identify the location and the specific car we have in mind. Well, you know, in celebrating a 35th birthday, it occurred to me we might dig back to about 35 years ago and get some old Paul Whiteman music out to please you this morning. So here is the Paul Whiteman Orchestra, and incidentally, they got out their old arrangements and re-recorded this. That's why it sounds so fresh. So everybody get up this morning and enjoy the Japanese Sandman.
This was the story not only of Los Angeles, but of its people from all walks of life. Ralph Story made 21 direct line phone calls that morning, and this was one of them.
You know, in talking about the broadcast here, I've mentioned a couple of times that this whole program, the whole Birthday Bonanza from now right on through midnight, is brought to you by Standard Federal Savings and Loan. But golly, I don't know whether the sponsor's up yet this morning, and I've just gotten a signal here. The thing you hear there is a signal that our direct line is open, and I think we'll find out if the sponsor's up this morning.
Hello.
Hello, George.
Yes.
This is Ralph Story at KNX. Did I wake you up?
You sure did, but why so early?
Well, your program has started, George, the big birthday bonanza. Since you're the sponsor of it, I thought you ought to be up to hear it, you know. I wanted to call you and tell you that all of us here are very, very pleased that Standard Federal is a sponsor of the big birthday broadcast we're having on our 35th anniversary. Incidentally, how old is Standard Federal, George?
Well, Ralph, we celebrated our 30th anniversary last week.
Well, look, this is the very beginning of our birthday broadcast, George, and I wondered what you'd like us to say today. I mean, after all, we want a lot of people to get acquainted with Standard Federal today, too.
Well, now you can just tell the folks that Standard Federal is a friendly organization that we're right down up Wilshire and Grand Avenue. And the reason we're...
The entire day was sponsored by Standard Federal, and the commercials were all integrated informally. No hard sell. We called a lot of people that morning, and we want you to hear a few of them. Here's the star of the motion picture Marty, one of Ralph's regular listeners, Mr. Ernest Borgnine.
About your family, Ernie. Who gets up first, and what's the breakfast routine around your house there?
Well, when I'm making a picture, I get up first. The idea being that I have to be away and off to the studio quite early. Mm-hmm. So I'm up and away, and I don't bother to have breakfast at home. I usually catch a quick glass of orange juice and have my breakfast over at the studio.
Well, now, you're a pretty big man. Do you have big breakfast?
No, I don't. Actually, a lot of people must think that I must eat like a horse, but actually I don't.
Some of the others we woke up at that early hour were Art Nadell of the aircraft industry, screen star Vera Ellen, yes, and even the weatherman.
And quite warm for this time of year up in the mountain sections.
Jack, one last question here. Are you going to be on duty again at 7:45 when we call you?
Yes, I think I'll be here for you at that time, Ralph.
Fine, Jack. Thank you very much, then, for giving us the weather right from the Weather Bureau this morning. Jack Frazee, the forecaster at the Los Angeles International Airport Weather Bureau. Thanks, Jack.
You're welcome, Ralph.
Dating way back, one of the earliest listeners to my program was a gardener out in Beverly Hills by the name of John Charles Thomas. And I say that because he used to get up early and do some gardening. Since then, I think John Charles has moved out to Apple Valley. In any case, we'll find out because our direct line, there's a signal that's open right now, and we're going to talk to him up at KAVR in Apple Valley.
Hello.
Hello, John Charles.
Yes, sir.
How are you this morning?
Just fine.
Wonderful. Nice to talk to you this Saturday.
It's nice to hear from you.
Oh, well, it's been a long time since I talked to you. I think the last time I talked to you, you were out in Beverly Hills.
Oh, yes. We moved in from Mandeville Canyon.
Oh, I see. Do you live at Apple Valley all the year round now?
Oh, yes. We live here all the time now.
I see. And are you down there at the station every morning?
I'm right here at the station.
Wonderful. Well, I think that you're the only owner of a radio station who is also one of the world's great singers who also gets up this early in the morning, aren't you?
Well, it's kind of nice to get up in the morning.
How long have you been getting up early?
Well, I started a long while ago. I got used to it on doing one-night stand.
Oh, really? What time did you have to get up then?
Well, we had to catch the 5:15.
We kept the direct lines busy that morning, calling Norman Carroll, the Ringling Brothers press agent, Mr. and Mrs. Bushnell. Mr. Bushnell makes the famous binoculars. Also, a comedian named Danny Kaye. Now remember, this is a condensation of 18 hours.
Now, let's see. Oh, earlier in the program, just after we signed on at 6 o'clock, we turned on that microphone up at the freeway to let you hear the number of people who were up at that time of the morning. Now, I thought you might be interested, especially if you heard that first report from the freeway there, you might be interested to see the increase in traffic. See what it is right now at 7:18 this morning.
Remote crews were standing by everywhere. We picked up a policeman patrolling the freeway, screen star Bill Holden, and we even went to a circus and woke up the elephants. And then we made more direct line phone calls.
Well, there's a signal that our direct line is open again, and I think you may be surprised at who was up this early this morning.
Hi, Ralph.
Hi, Dinah. How are you this morning?
Well, let's see. I'm busy, you might say. That's a good way to start.
Why are you so busy?
Well, we're getting ready to go to Flint, Michigan for the big Flintorama. And to get out of the house and get everything planned, see, we're going to do our first 2 television shows from Detroit. And to get everything ready for the television shows and everything ready for the performance in Flint and see that the children are all right and see that the house is fine before we leave. It's quite a do.
It sounds like quite a do indeed. Is everybody up?
Oh, everybody's been up for days, honestly. Since 6:30 this morning.
What time do you usually get up, Dinah?
Well, we usually don't get up till a reasonable hour, like 7:30 or 8, unless, of course, it's school days for Missy. Then we get up a little bit earlier, but this is crazy.
Yeah.
Missy suddenly decided she wanted to have one of the puppy dogs in her bed this morning, and she assumed it was 9 o'clock, and it was 6.
And thus, lovely Dinah Shore joined the celebration. Here's another remote that occurred in the first portion of our birthday bonanza.
Now, if my signals are correct, Bob Ferris is somewhere in the city of Los Angeles and should be about ready to come in and report now. Bob, are you there yet?
I'm ready down here, Ralph, right in front of the Georgia Street Receiving Hospital. If it's okay, I'll go right ahead because I have the head male nurse here for the morning. We're hoping that during the progress of this 4 or 5 minute broadcast, something's going to happen here because this is one of the nerve centers of the city, really. And when things happen any place around the central district of town, here's where the either the injured people or the bodies come. Now, here's Mr. Stickles, the head nurse. Is this an average morning, you'd say, down here?
It's running about normal for Saturday morning, yes.
I understand that just lately you had a lot of things going on with the heat prostrations. Is that right?
Yes, we were over capacity. We not only used all of our beds.
This is Ralph Story speaking from KNX, AM and FM in Los Angeles. It is now 9 o'clock.
Those were portions of the first 3-hour segment of the birthday bonanza called The City Wakes.
Now, to continue the story of the Southland in which we live, we're going to take a look at the heart, mind, and soul of Los Angeles. You'll hear direct broadcast from the Children's Hospital, from a summer camp, from the nerve center of our civil defense organizations, and our microphones will record the color and background of many other Southland points of interest. George Eason, as co-host of our KNX Birthday Bonanza, you undoubtedly have some comment on this part of the story.
Dave, every city has a heart, a mind, and a soul. Cities are pretty much like people. Each has a distinct personality. But Los Angeles is really an outstanding personality among cities of the world. It's colorful, strong, and dynamic.
It certainly is. And I think we'll realize that even more, George, after today's broadcasts.
Yes, and I know that you're planning on looking into the very great, generous heart of our city right now, Dave. What's the first trip you're planning for us?
Well, it's an organization with a heart, George, a big heart. And to tell us what he sees and to talk to some of these concerned here, speaking from the Los Angeles Children's Hospital on Sunset Boulevard near Vermont, is that longtime radio favorite, Yogi Jorgensen.
Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This here is Yogi Jorgensen talking to you from the orthopedic ward of the Children's Hospital here in Los Angeles on KNX's 35th anniversary.
The singing in the background you hear is the collective voice of some 200 campfire girls who this summer had the very enjoyable experience familiar to all who ever went to summer camp. We've journeyed to Camp Yolani in the San Bernardino Mountains in the Barton Flats area. And here along the rippling, mountain-cool Santa Ana is the Campfire Girls Summer Headquarters. This is a complete, modern, and excellent camping facility, like many others in the Southern California area, that you have helped make possible with your gifts to the community chest. It has a large dining hall and kitchen, hospital, washrooms, showers, swimming pool, tent cabins, everything, in other words, needed to make Camp Yolani a wonderful place to spend a week or two each summer. In this pine-scented evergreen area with the murmuring sound of the Santa Ana ever in the background, these summer campers live a healthy, active life. They swim, work at handcrafts, ride horses, write letters home, go on overnight campouts, and they sing at the slightest provocation. Out in Westwood is an imposing and beautiful community of buildings. The University of California at Los Angeles is famous for many things, and who's better qualified to tell us about it than the University Explorer, UCLA's Director of Public Relations, Hale Sparks.
Thank you, Dave Showalter. How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? We are speaking to you from the radio studio in the Department of Theater Arts on the campus of the University of California at Los Angeles. During the 35 years that KNX has been serving the community of Southern California, the area has witnessed great strides in higher education, both in private and public institutions. In that period
KNX newsman Frank Goss, the official voice of Conrad, is waiting now atop Mount Lee at the State Regional Defense Headquarters And here's his report on the complex operation that's carried on there. Frank?
Our guest this morning is Mr. Henry S. Eaton, who is the coordinator for Southern California for the State Office of Civil Defense. Mr. Eaton, what are some of the things Civil Defense is prepared to do in the way of survival action?
First of all, we are prepared throughout California to warn the people of a probable or imminent attack the minute such a warning is flashed by the Western Air Defense Force. We have set up a dual warning system in many
And now to KNX reporter David Vale, who is standing by with a direct report on the city in which we live.
Los Angeles, a city with a heart, a soul, and a mind. But over 70 times every court day in Los Angeles County, these words are heard: divorce granted. I'm speaking from the chambers of Superior Court Judge Louis H. Burke, because I understand the minds of Los Angeles are making an attempt to drastically reduce the...
We made another switch to another remote where the great Los Angeles Symphonic Chorus was standing by. You realize, of course, that this is a compilation of 18 full hours, so we can only give you this in small segments. It was truly visiting day for KNX. We went to the famed Huntington Library, to a foster home where we talked with children who had just come from Germany, and we dropped into the Pasadena Community Playhouse and listened to a rehearsal. Say, do you remember that hidden car contest we started 4 hours ago on the Ralph Story part of our show? Well, we were doing our second remote from the wards of the Children's Hospital when things began to happen.
Let's walk right over here. Here's a young lady. Doctor, is this a patient here that gives you much trouble?
Oh, not at all. Not at all. She's a real friend of ours.
Well, she sure looks like it. What is your name, Ray?
Yeah, the horn sounds and sounds. That means I'm kind of excited that somebody here won or found the hidden car. And we're talking to who? To Bob Sutton?
This is Berquist up on the hill.
Well, is it Berquist?
Yeah, just a minute. Just a minute now.
All right.
We gotta wait for him to come back.
All right. Well, we'll hold on here.
Just hold on a minute. Is it Dave?
Yes, this is Dave.
That's all right. This is Berquist up your suite, you know.
I sure do.
Yeah.
One of our fine KNX engineers. Sweet, you didn't find the car, did you?
No. I'm just a central operator up here on Mount Lee. KE 8727. Go ahead. You're on the air here now. Go ahead.
Hello.
8728.
Hello.
Just a minute, Dave.
Oh, you got me so excited here.
Well, I can't get them guys to come on the air.
Grace, do you want to hang on to this for a minute?
Just hold on.
Hello. 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing.
Hello, Dave Showalter.
Hi, Bob.
Hiya, Dave.
How are you?
Real good, man. Hey, we've got a winner.
Well, can we talk to him or her?
Sure can. I want you to meet one of the most excited men in town, Dick Norton. Say hello to Dave Showalter, Dick. Hi, Dave.
Dick who?
Dick Norton, Norton.
Well, what are you, some sort of a mandrake, the magician?
No, in fact, I'd given up, and we were starting back to Pasadena when we heard the clue with the word Kaiser in it, and that pegged it to Kaiser Brothers and an Oldsmobile, and then the $5,000 figure. I figured that perhaps it was a convertible. And then we spotted this gentleman here trying to get in the May Company parking lot. He couldn't make it at the first pass, and so we tailed him around by Carthay Circle, and finally when he stopped again here next to May Company, why, I grabbed the horn and almost dropped from fright.
How's your heart at the moment? I mean,
well, it's flipping.
And do you need any oxygen or anything like that?
Need any what?
Oxygen?
Well, I think I could use some, yeah.
What are you going to do with the car?
Some drive it, and I guess I'll unload my other one.
What kind of an automobile is it?
The other one is a good one, if there's any buyers listening. Good, clean 52 Chevrolet.
All right.
Dave?
Yeah?
This is Bob Sutton again. I'd like to interrupt and give you another excited member of the Norton family, Mrs. Norton. This is Dave Showalter, Mrs. Norton.
Hi, Dave.
How are you, Mrs. Norton?
Oh, I'm so shaky, I just don't know.
Well, what are you going to do with the automobile? You going to help him drive it, or are you going to sell it, or what?
Oh, no, we'll keep it. We've never had a new car. We've been married 14 years, and we're going to keep it.
Isn't that wonderful? Do you have any family?
Yes, I have a little boy, 11, and I think he's the most excited one of the three of us.
Dave?
Is he there, Bob?
Yes.
Dave, Dickie is right here. Here's young Dickie Norton. Say hello to Dave Showalter.
Hi, Dave.
Hello, Slugger. How are you?
Okay.
Where do you go to school?
Over in Die Heights and over in Eagle Rock.
Are you happy to win an automobile, honey?
Uh-huh.
Huh?
Yep.
What was your first reaction?
Well, I was so excited I can't remember.
Was your daddy pretty excited?
I know one thing, sure pretty and fat. It looks like really gold.
Well, thanks a million. Anybody else up there, Bob?
There you are. That's the story from the Norton family. We'll turn it right back to you, Dave, at Birthday Bonanza.
Well, thank you very much, and congratulations to you, lucky Nortons. Thanks a million.
A family made happy, and a city with them. This city with a heart, mind, and soul. We'd been on the air for 5 hours, and at 11 a.m., Frank Goss took over.
For the next 2 hours, KNX Radio pays tribute to Southern California building and industry, and to its men and women who have made this not only one of the nation's principal industrial centers, but a veritable center of world commerce. You're going to meet these people, workers and executives alike, as we visit representative enterprises of leading industries in and around Los Angeles and talk to them while they work. But now, let's consider each specific industry separately, beginning with the first one which came to Los Angeles, the petroleum industry. Did you know the first oil well in Los Angeles was drilled because a man once looked at a wagon? Well, it actually happened. In January 1892, a young man named Edward Doheny arrived in Los Angeles, which was little more than a small town, still under the lazy, placid influence of Spanish days. A few weeks and he was flat broke, jobless, with nothing to do but enjoy the sunshine on the front porch of a small hotel. In fact, this is exactly what he was doing one morning while pondering the advisability of leaving Los Angeles for good, when a wagon loaded with pitch suddenly appeared. Now, there was nothing unusual about that wagon load of dirt to native Angelinos, but this man was a newcomer. He quickly arose and hailed the driver.
Hey, stop!
You called to me, senor?
Yeah, I'm curious about that dirt in your wagon. What is it?
It is brea, what you call pitch, senor. With it, we fix the roof of our casas.
Let me look at it. Granular, dark, and oily.
Do not touch it, senor. You will get the hand dirty.
I've seen dirt like this in Pennsylvania. Tell me, where'd you find it?
Where else but in Westlake Park? It's there for everybody to take.
Westlake Park. That's all I want to know. Thanks, friend.
Caray, these crazy Americanos.
Options were quickly secured, a few dollars raised, and drilling began. Soon the day came when...
Oil! Oil! Can't fail, she's spouting! We're rich!
That first oil well brought to its new owner, Edward Doheny, 45 barrels a day. And to Los Angeles, the first of its great industries, for within 5 years, there were 2,500 oil wells within the city limits. All this because Doheny was curious about a passing wagon. And now for a survey of the petroleum industry in 1955, we take you to Bill Keneally, who was on a Union Oil Company tanker in Los Angeles Harbor.
Thank you, Frank. This is Bill Keneally. I'm standing on the bridge of the SS Santa Maria, which is tied up at the Union Oil Company's marine loading terminal here in Los Angeles Harbor. Standing by me is Mr. E.L. Hyatt, who's Vice President in charge of Transportation and Distribution.
Suppose we consider what is perhaps the second oldest of our great industries, aircraft manufacturing, which I believe came to Los Angeles in 1910. As we know, there were very few planes built here until after the First World War, perhaps 1920, when KNX came into existence. For a first-hand report of aircraft manufacturing today, we take you to Carol Alcott at the Douglas factory in Santa Monica.
This is Carol Alcott in the plant of the Douglas Aircraft Company in Santa Monica, the largest makers of commercial aircraft in the world and one of the largest airplane makers anywhere. By pleasant coincidence, it so happens that the Douglas Aircraft Company started 35 years ago, coinciding with the beginning of KNX. KNX started in the bedroom of Mr. Christian in this city.
And now for an on-the-scene report of a major studio in action, we take you to Paramount Pictures and Hugh Douglas.
This is Hugh Douglas speaking to you from the Paramount Motion Picture lot. As a matter of fact, from exactly in front of Soundstage 18, a tremendous building which stretches on just about as far as my eye can see to the right and for another 30 or 40 feet to the left. We're going to go into the lot here and talk to some of the people who are working on a motion picture that's actually being produced at this very second.
It's only a handful of miles from the glamour of motion pictures to the men who toil for their living at sea. And yet it's the fishermen who together form California's third largest industry, fishing, and who have made Los Angeles the tuna capital of the world. And for this feature, we take you now to KNX newsman Bill Keneally, who is waiting at Los Angeles Harbor.
This is Bill Keneally. I'm speaking from the bridge of the Dolores M A tuna clipper out of Tacoma, Washington. It's docked at the present time directly in front of the Chicken of the Sea cannery here at Cannery Row on Terminal Island. With me at the present time is Mr. Gilbert.
Well, in the building and industry section, we also covered the May Company, one of our large department store chains in the West. We visited a plant where furniture is made, and a fabulous new development out in the valley called Panorama City. For first-hand information about storage and moving, it was the huge warehouse of Beacon's Van and Storage. And sun-kissed oranges joined the party from an orange grove and packing plant. Came 1 o'clock, and here's another digest of events devoted to Southern California's tourist industry.
Hooray for Hollywood.
That's groovy ballyhooey Hollywood.
Where any office boy or young mechanic can be a panic with just a good-looking pan.
And any barmaid can be a star maid
if she dances with or without a fan. Hooray for Hollywood.
Where you're terrific if you're even good.
Where anyone at all from Mickey Rooney to Rosie Clooney is equally understood. Go out and try your luck, you might be Donald Duck. Hooray for Hollywood.
Yes, sir, we're kind of proud of this town of ours. It's not only home, but it's the hub of a vast area of tourist attractions. Well, let's see now. There are the missions and the movie studios, Forest Lawn, Lake Arrowhead, Laguna, Disneyland, Mount Whitney, and Death Valley. And do you know that the highest and the lowest points in the United States, Mount Whitney and Death Valley, are just a few short miles apart? That's right. Southern California holds a lot of charm for tourists, and it owes a lot to them as well. Last year, you won't believe this, but 3,875,123 visitors to this area spent $529,737,997 before going home to Iowa and Missouri and Illinois and other points east. Well, maybe at times it does seem gaudy and bespangled, but underneath, it's also solid and sincere. And that's why we say,
go out and try your luck, you might be Donald Duck. Hooray for Hollywood.
Well, for the next couple of hours, we're going to be doing some touring, and you folks there on the other end of your radios are going to meet Martha Tilton.
Hi.
Billy Wardell.
Hello there.
And Frank Messina.
Howdy.
And myself. And oh, yes, Alan Botzer will be on hand with Miss KNX to keep the Wheel of Fortune spinning and to pass out some prizes from time to time.
Say, Harry, why don't we just sort of take leave of all this?
You mean do some traveling?
I mean.
Well, fine. Care to share my magic carpet?
Well, I'd love to.
My pleasure. Shall we away?
Good thought. Where to?
Well, how about someplace by the sea, by the sea, by the beautiful sea? You and I, oh, how happy we'll be.
Oh, a grand day for a trip.
Yeah, I get a real nice view from up here, don't you?
The water's so blue today. And say, what's that crowd on the beach?
Why, gal, that's Santa Monica.
You mean...
Right, Muscle Beach.
Where men are men.
Yeah, and the women grow biceps, too. And right in the middle of that melee is one of our top KNX feature reporters, Bob Ferris.
To that background, and believe you me, I hate to be lifting that thing myself, this is Bob Ferris reporting from Muscle Beach, California. It's down here at Santa Monica, just south of the Santa Monica Pier, and... a lot of people out here having a beautiful time today, as they always do every day of the week, particularly on Saturday and Sunday. It's just the height of the season, or maybe just a little bit past it. And the noise you heard in the background there was the noise of a weightlifter working out with about 150-pound weight, I'd say there. We've got a lot of people gathered around here, and for the climax of this broadcast today, we're going to attempt to interview 3 people who are on a totem pole. In other words...
Well, how about doing some more touring, Harry?
Okay, what do you have in mind, Martha?
Well, you picked the last one, so this time it's my turn.
Okay.
Do, 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 do.
Wait, what?
Oh, come on now, that's your clue. What's the place I have in mind? Do, 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 da, 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 da.
Well, by golly, wait a minute now, that's a slow boat to China.
I know, Chinatown.
No. Now, here's another one. Do-do-do-do-do-do, da-da-da-da-da-da.
Oh, I think I got it, Martha. That's Grauman's Chinese Theater.
Well, right. Chalk one up for Billy.
Yeah.
And according to the word I got, Roy Rowan is waiting with a few well-chosen words in the forecourt of Grauman's Chinese Theater right now.
Douglas Fairbanks Sr., Marilyn Monroe, William Powell. Footprints, handprints, nose prints, yes, even leg prints of many of Hollywood's brightest stars in the forecourt of one of Hollywood's brightest showplaces. Created by Mr. Sid Grauman, who for 3 decades was one of Hollywood's greatest showmen until his passing in the early spring of 1950. Well, this is Roy Rowan, and we're here right now with our KNX birthday...
The hidden car that you heard earlier is not the only prize we gave away. Oh, no. More than $65,000 in gifts were won by lucky listeners throughout that exciting day. In front of the marquee at Columbia Square, a huge cement mixer was filled with some 250,000 pieces of mail, constantly turning. Each hour, a new batch of those letters was moved to a revolving drum on the stage of Studio A, where a telephone contest was being conducted direct to folks in our listening audience.
We have Mrs. Leon A. Rosenfield at 436 North Normandy in Los Angeles.
Mrs. Rosenfield, how are you?
Just fine, thank you.
You feel lucky?
I do.
Tell me your lucky number between 1 and 11, inclusive.
Well, let's make it 10, since that's the date.
Number 10, September 10th, our anniversary, and best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Number 10 is being handed to me from the board now. Hold on to your hat, Mrs. Rosenfield. If you answer your question correctly, you will win a beautiful 2-tone coral and cream DeSoto Sportsman V8 featuring radio, white sidewall tires, power brakes, and wire wheels. Now, this beautiful DeSoto Sportsman from Tom Dolby Motors in Huntington Park is valued at over $4,600. Are you still there?
I'm here.
You're not speechless?
I'll speak to you.
Okay. Now, here is your question. It's a very brief one. You have 10 seconds to answer. Here we go. Please name the river near whose banks Los Angeles was founded. 10 seconds. The river near...
The Los Angeles River.
The Los Angeles River is absolutely correct. You win the beautiful 2-tone cream DeSoto Sportsman V8.
Oh, no.
We have a winner, Harry. Now it's back to you.
Thank you, Alan. You know, folks, sometimes those of us who live here in Southern California fail to appreciate the fact that we have some really wonderful attractions so close at hand, like the beaches and the mountains and the desert. Now, any of you right here in our little group have any suggestion as to the spot we visit next?
Yeah, let me do the honors this time, Harry.
All right, Bill.
This one here ought to strike close to home. Let's see now.
Did Avalon? Oh, boy, you know it, Bill. Who could think of Southern California without including the island of Catalina and Avalon? So, Mr. Engineer, how about making a switch to Avalon and David Vale?
Well, Harry, everybody on the mainland has my sympathies because I'm in paradise. Sunny and colorful Avalon on Santa Catalina, 20 miles out in the blue Pacific. Along with hundreds of townspeople and vacationists, we're about to meet the steamer, the SS Catalina, which is now being made secure here at dockside.
Hey, Harry.
Yeah?
What do you say we do some more traveling?
Well, all right, Frank. How about setting the scene for one of the busiest tourist attractions in all of Los Angeles?
Well, anyone for square dancing?
Square dancing, man. Let me see. Square dancing, Grange halls, farming, country.
Yeah. You're getting warm, Bill. You're getting warm. Now, what place is there in Los Angeles that's connected with a farm or with farmers?
Oh, I get it. The farmer's market, of course.
Right.
Now, that's where George Walsh is right now. George, what's going on?
Well, there's plenty going on at the farmer's market, Harry, just like there is every day. Today is no exception. A beautiful Saturday afternoon birthday bonanza day on KNX Radio, of course. We have a lot of tourists at the farmer's market. As a matter of fact, the farmer's market is always a headquarters for tourists, and I'd like to talk to some of them this afternoon.
Always, there was lots of music, too. And in the 2 hours we spent with the tourist, we went to Olvera Street, Lake Arrowhead, Knott's Berry Farm, San Juan Capistrano, Griffith Park Observatory, and Marine Land.
Well, anyway, that just points up a few of the facts. And whatever you want in the way of a vacation spot, Southern California has it. It's a pretty wonderful place to live in, and we hope that you tourists visiting with us these days will learn to love it as much as we do. And before we leave, I want to tell you what a pleasure it's been being with all of you for the past 2 hours. Well, I guess we'll be seeing you all pretty soon. So long.
Bye, everybody.
So long, everybody.
Bye.
And remember to stand by for more of KNX Radio's big birthday bonanza coming your way from KNX AM and FM in Los Angeles.
People, a word we all know, but try saying it over to yourself several times, fast.
People.
Sounds sort of funny, doesn't it? But I guess any word said often enough over and over again sounds funny. Still, I'm people, Johnny Jacobs by name, and you're people. And people make the world go round, don't they? Sure they do. And in this next portion of our big birthday bonanza, we're going to meet a lot of people. Folks who help make Southern California tick. Some famous, some not so famous, and some, well, just plain old people. We'll visit City Hall, hear kids at play and people at work. First off, here's a person known to many of us. Nice people, too. Speaking from his office in the City Hall, His Honor, the Mayor of Los Angeles, Norris Folsom.
I'm extremely happy today to be one of the people joining in the salute to KNX on her 35th birthday.
Do you hear those footsteps? Listen. Somewhere in Southern California, a KNX mystery man is walking. Now listen to this. The person who finds this man walks up to him, taps him on the shoulder, and says, "Happy 35th anniversary, KNX. We'll receive an expense trip for two to London, Paris, and Rome, flown both ways by TWA Airlines. All this for just saying happy 35th anniversary, KNX. Now, our mystery man will phone in once an hour and give clues about his location, and there is his call now. Hello, mystery man.
Yes.
This is Johnny Jacobs back at Columbia Square. You're walking, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
How's the weather?
Warm.
How are the bunions?
Fine.
All right, good. Now, of course, you can't tell us who you are because you're the KNX mystery man. But you can give us clues to where you are, can't you?
Yes.
Would you do that?
Fine. I'm looking at the world through rose-colored glasses. I just stumbled over a petal 9 months old.
And is that the clue?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. KNX Mystery Man, and you keep walking. We got people looking for you now. There you are. That riddle was certainly loaded with clues. Our KNX Mystery Man will be at that location for 10 minutes. Now, if you know where he is, go up to him, tap him on the shoulder, and say, "Happy 35th anniversary, KNX." That's all you do. And if you pick the right man, you'll receive the expense trip for two to London, Paris, and Rome, flown both ways by TWA Airlines. And one more thing. If anyone does identify our KNX mystery man, he has instructions to phone in here immediately and notify us of the winner. So good luck to you all and get looking. Where next? Well, just listen.
That sound you hear right now is the giant Wurlitzer. Gee, Mom, it's a Wurlitzer here in the Griffith Park playground on the merry-go-round. And we got some kids on the merry-go-round this afternoon having a good time like Angelinos always do on a Saturday. In fact, there's one.
By this time, we had moved into the portion of our show simply titled People. We visited a rehabilitation farm, Chinatown, a forest ranger in the Angeles Crest Forest, Caltech, where we sized up a seismograph, a public swimming pool, and the swimming pool of a movie star.
Well, we've met a lot of interesting people in this segment of the KNX Birthday Bonanza. And the fun and the prizes and the contest will go right on until midnight, so stick around, everybody. My turn now to toss the ball to old 98 himself, Tom Harmon. So this is Johnny Jacobs saying so long, not for the Birthday Bonanza, just for me, from KNX AM and FM in Los Angeles.
Thank you, Johnny Jacobs, and hello, sport fans. Well, we'd certainly be remiss to think of KNX's big 35th birthday celebration and leave out the world of sports. For in all of Southern California's greatness, no part of our entertainment here holds more promise nor offers more opportunities than does
Beginning
the
at
Southern
4:30, we gave an hour and a half to sports in Southern California with a trip to the home field of the Hollywood Stars, to USC's football field, and to their crosstown rivals UCLA, where Coach Red Sanders was putting the mighty Bruins through scrimmage. And also...
Standing by now is Tom Hanlon at the McAfee Engineering Corporation on the Sunset Strip, where at this moment some of the West's most famous racing engines are being groomed for future events. So, from Birthday Bonanza, the green flag to you, Tom Hanlon.
Thank you, Tom. Well, you see, I had a fast trip from SC to Ernie McAfee's Engineering, but I borrowed one of Ernie's Ferraris. The sound you hear in the background, ladies and gentlemen, is that of a Ferrari Monza. Music just as real as Brahms to a sports car enthusiast, but to many beaten competitors, this music often strikes a sour note, for Ferrari has certainly won its share of races. We are not here to talk primarily of the Ferrari today, but we did want to identify the sound. Here in Ernie McAfee's showcase for foreign cars in his engineering department are many interesting facets of the sports car field, and three drivers who...
You know, one of the most popular participant sports in the Southland is skin diving. Our good friend and CBS newscaster Bob Ferris is an ardent skin diving enthusiast, and right now he's standing by at the water's edge to take you on one of his diving expeditions.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. To my knowledge, this is the first time that a skin diver has ever broadcast live on the air from underwater. I am now in approximately 20 feet of water at Palos Verdes Peninsula. Directly ahead of me, as I swim around here underwater with the helmet of my Scott Hydropack on, is Bert Williams, a fellow member of the Aqua Guards organization, an underwater safety group, and he's watching me to be sure that nothing happens while I do this broadcast. It may sound like it's a little hard to breathe here, but this is not the case. It's simply the fact that with diving masks constituted as they are, it's pretty hard to talk while you're breathing in. You have to inhale pretty sharply and then talk as you're exhaling. I'll try to describe the situation around here as we swim lazily together, Bert Williams and I, looking out ahead.
Remember the walking man out pounding the pavement who knows where? Johnny Jacobs started the Walking Man contest 3 hours earlier, and here's what happened when a listener finally found him.
Yes, sir. And
Discovered.
you have been discovered.
Yes, I have.
Well, wonderful.
May I put him on the air?
No, I certainly hope you will.
All right, this is Sandy Breakstone. And he beat another lady by about 3 steps.
You had quite a crowd after you then.
There's a big crowd waiting here right now. They all trapped me here.
Well, where about...
Sandy.
Hello.
Sandy?
Yes.
This is Tom Harmon talking.
Hi, Tom.
What was your clue on the tip-off?
Well, it was the bit about the street and the town, because I know that the town of North Hollywood used to be called Lancashire.
I see.
And also, when he said he was looking at a green field from a phone booth, I know the area rather well, and I know there's only one green field out here, and only one phone booth where he could have phoned from and seen it. So I ran over from my home. As a matter of fact, I heard the clue from Whittier originally. I was in Westminster at the time. And then I drove out to my home. I was in the driveway ready to get out of the car. And I heard the new clue and figured, well, it would have taken that long to drive here, the same time it took me to drive here.
Well, Sandy, where is your exact location right now?
We are at the corner of Tahunga Avenue and Magnolia Boulevard, North Hollywood.
North Hollywood. How long have you been on the track?
Well, only about, I should say about 10 minutes tops.
I see. What do you do as the occupation, Sandy?
I'm a decorator.
A decorator?
That's right.
Well, I can't think of anything that the wonderful prize that you're going to receive could be more fitting. Do you know what your prize is?
Why, yes, I've been listening to the program all day.
Well, your prize is a wonderful expense-paid trip for two by TWA from Los Angeles to Rome, Italy, and return. It's a 2-week junket with stopover privileges in Ireland, London, Paris, Geneva, Madrid, and Lisbon. So, Sandy, you're certainly going to pick up some decorating hints on that trip.
I certainly will.
Have you ever been out of the United States?
Well, only in Canada and Mexico.
I see. How old are you, Sandy?
35.
Are you married?
Yes, two children.
2 children?
Uh-huh.
Boy and a girl?
Boy and a girl.
Well, isn't that wonderful? Have you got a good babysitter for 2 weeks?
Oh, yeah, sure. That I can arrange, believe me.
Well, Sandy, our heartiest congratulations on picking off the walking man, and we certainly hope that you'll continue to stay with us on the birthday bonanza. And congratulations on really winning a wonderful prize, and we certainly hope you have a most wonderful trip.
Well, thank you very much, Tom. I want to thank KNX.
And now it's 6 o'clock, 12 eventful hours from the time our birthday bonanza began. And next came the story on transportation.
This is Max Roby, your host for the next hour of the KNX Birthday Bonanza. At this moment, Bill Keneally is cruising over the city in the Goodyear blimp, ready to give us a bird's-eye view of the transportation picture in Los Angeles later in the program. But let's just check with him for a moment. Hello, Bill Keneally.
Hello, Max Roby.
Go ahead, give us that report from the blimp over Los Angeles.
Well, Max, as a matter of fact, I'm sitting right over your shoulder. Of course, I'm 1,400 feet above you. But at this very moment, I'm right smack atop the roof of CBS and in a direct line with the roof of Studio A. If you went out the window and looked up, you'd see us floating over you, a great big silver bag full of air.
Do you see any parking places, Bill?
I do see one, but I've got to keep it to myself because I'm coming back a little later and you're not going to get ahead of me.
Okay, thanks very much, Bill. We will be talking to you later in that Goodyear blimp. And if anything exciting happens meantime, just cut right in and tell us about it.
Fine, Max.
Throughout this portion, the KNX remote engineers really came into their own, taking us to the nerve centers of transportation. The Union Station, the historic Angels Flight in downtown Los Angeles, the port of embarkation at famed Los Angeles Harbor, and...
Now let's go to Los Angeles International Airport, where Dan Cubberly will interview officials and passengers on a transcontinental plane about to take off for the East.
Yes, a busy place this international airport. We're standing right by Gate 7 at the American Airlines departure, where 80 passengers are now preparing to board a luxurious DC-6 air coach for a flight transcontinental from here to Chicago and New York, and who knows how many people are going from there on elsewhere. This is Flight 608, getting underway at the present time. You know, going back 35 years to when KNX was first born, this airport was just a bean field a long ways from downtown Los Angeles.
And this brought us up to the star-studded show at 7 p.m. in Studio B.
Birthday Bonanza continues. With the Big Show. With your host, Charles Farrell, and a galaxy of stars. Edgar Bergen and Charlie McCarthy, Lucille Norman, Harry Babbitt, Kurt Massey, Martha Tilton, the Mellow Men, and Wilbur Hatch in the orchestra. And our honored guest, Los Angeles County Supervisor, Mr. John Anson Ford. And now, with a fabulous story of Southern California through 35 years of progress, here's your host, Mr. Charles Farrell.
Well, good evening, everybody, and thank you, Johnny Jacobs. But I can't cover 35 years of progress in Southern California. I just recently turned 35 myself.
Well, if you turn 35, you get 53.
Ouch. Ouch, that's me. So let's get on with the show.
1920.
Oh, give me a
now 1930.
Grab your coat, get your hat. Leave your worries on the doorstep. Just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. Can't you hear that pitter-pat? And that happy tune is your step. Life could be so sweet on the sunny side of the street.
1935.
I feel a song coming on, and I'm warning you, it's a victorious, happy and glorious new strain. Now that my troubles are gone, let those heavenly drums go on drumming, 'cause I feel a song coming on.
1940.
When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are. When you wish upon a star, your dream comes true.
1945.
June is busting out all over the meadow and the hill. Buds are busting out of bushes and the romping river pushes every little wheel that wheels beside a mill. Because it's June, 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 just because it's June, June, June.
1950.
If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake, baked a cake, baked a cake. If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake. How'd you do, how'd you do, how'd you do? If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake, hired a band, goodness sake. If I knew you were coming, I'd have baked a cake. How'd you do, how'd you do, how'd you do?
1955.
When an irresistible force such as you meets an old immovable object like me, you can bet as sure as you live, something's gotta give, something's gotta give, something's gotta give. When an irrepressible smile such as yours warms an old implacable heart such as mine, don't say no because I insist. Somewhere, somehow, someone's gonna be kissed. So on guard.
Who knows that the fates have in store from their vast, mysterious sky?
I'll try hard,
ignoring those lips I adore.
But how long can anyone try? Fight, 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 fight it with all of your might. Chances are some heavenly star-spangled night we'll find out as sure as we live. Something's gotta give, something's gotta give, something's gotta give, something's gotta. I'm telling you, something gotta give.
And now, folks, let's find out what a gay young blade was doing back in the roaring 20s. Edgar Bergen.
Well, now, isn't this a wonderful... Good evening. Thank you, honey.
Yes.
What's your phone number? Same as usual? Yes. Look at the audience we have here, Charlie. Just look at them. Look at them. Oh, they are a mess, ain't they? No. No, I should say not. No, I think we have a fine audience. I think they're handsome people. Really very handsome. Handsome, yes. Where? Oh, where are you looking, man? Or... all over here, yes. And this is not just another evening. This is a very special occasion. It is? Yes, it's a birthday party, Charlie. It is? Yes. 35 years ago today, KNX was born. Well, isn't that nice? Yes. Was it a boy or a girl? Well, and now it's 35 years old. Well, KNX is now over 35. It's eligible for Seratan. No. I'm very happy to say that it doesn't need it. Oh, yes. It's going stronger than ever. You mean it's more radioactive than ever? Yeah, more radioactive is right. Yeah. I think. Oh, just think, 35 years ago, Charlie. Yeah. I was a young blue-eyed boy then with blonde hair. Yeah. Don't torture yourself. No. Yeah, blonde hair. Blonde flowing locks down to my shoulder. Yeah. Well, that stream sort of dried up, didn't it? Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Ah, but to think of the times we had. Yeah. I don't know why, Charlie. Why do you want to pick on me? I thought this might be a sort of a sentimental evening. But you're right there with your barbs, aren't you? Yeah, I guess so, yeah. Why do you do? Must I always lecture to you, Charlie? I don't like to do that. I don't know. I guess I'm just a stinker. Yes, I'm just no good. No. Well, why do you take such a vitriolic attitude? Well, I don't know. I guess it's between the allowance I don't get and you're lecturing me. I guess that does it. Yeah. Life ain't worth living. Life ain't worth it. Bishop Sheen says life is worth living. Oh, sure. He's got his own TV program. He can talk. And no partner to split with either. Well, I'll tell you, Bishop Sheen is working for the love of his work. Oh, yes. You see, he is interested in doing good. Oh, I see. Yes. He works for the Lord. Well, he's got a good sponsor.
2 star-studded hours filled with mirth and melody, memories and dignitaries. Then, at the crack of 9...
And this is Tom Hanlon, your host for the next 3 hours on Rhythm Around the Town. Yes, sir. KNX's Birthday Bonanza continues its 18 hours of saluting the Southern California area with Rhythm Around the Town. And during the next 3 hours, you'll visit with us all of the top night spots in town. We'll find out firsthand from one of Variety's top columnists, Army Archer, and KNX Radio's popular humorous disc jockey, Bill Balance, just what happens in this town of ours when the lights go on.
And that's what we did. We rubbed elbows with the stars at Ciro's, danced to the music of Orrin Tucker at the Hollywood Palladium. Louis Armstrong welcomed us to the Crescendo. We went to the Macombo, downtown for Al Donahue and his band at the Hotel Statler. We went backstage at the Moulin Rouge, then to Pasadena and the Huntington Sheraton for the rhythms of Bobby Troup. The bright lights beckoned us 20 miles across town to the glittering Beverly Hilton, and we wound up at the world-famed Coconut Grove for more music by Freddie Martin. Well, we'd covered a lot of the town that day, and we'd given away a lot of prizes to our listeners. Mink coats, refrigerators, stoves, tool kits, motor cars, vacation trips, over $65,000 worth in all. But there was still one prize left on the board, and just before midnight, we made our final call.
Hello, Mrs. Axton.
Hello.
How are you this evening?
Fine, thank you.
Do you feel lucky?
Yes.
Your lucky number is number 1 if it's going to be lucky for you.
Thank
Number
you.
1 is the only one left on our super board. Here is your question. And you know what your prize is going to be, do you not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's a beautiful blue 1955 Buick Super Riviera from Phil Hall Buick in Hollywood. This Buick Super Riviera is loaded with extras. It has a radio, white sidewall tires, Continental kit, and wire wheels. And it is valued at over $4,900. Mrs. Axton, are you still with me?
Yes, sir.
Here is your question. Please answer it in 10 seconds or less. One of Hollywood's first famous restaurants, which is still in existence today, was named after a hat. What is the name of this restaurant?
The Brown Derby.
The Brown Derby. You are our last and final winner, Mrs. Joe Axton of Huntington Beach.
And so the last prize was gone. The giant cement mixer slowly ground to a stop, and at midnight, the celebration was over. May we remind you again that you have heard only the highlights from a broadcast which lasted 18 hours, covering every major field of activity in the day of a great city. On the 35th anniversary of KNX Radio, this was our gift to Los Angeles, its neighbors, and its people. This was our Birthday Bonanza.